1 to 2 is organic farming and the substantial benefit to the agricultural community. The opponent's secondary claims are 1, organically run food is safe to eat, 2, organic farming produces higher yields, and 3, organic farming has an array of environmental benefits. For the first claim, organically grown food is safe to eat. She talks about how conventional farming uses pesticides and synthetic fertilizers for conventional farming, but she likes to put out that organic farming also uses pesticides in a special category, and one of these pesticides are recognized by the Organic Materials Review Institute. They recognize retin, a potent pesticide, which in the laboratory is known to cause retardation in lab rats over chronic exposure. And a toxicology report also says that it is highly toxic and carries on the chemical itself, it carries the label danger, while on other insecticides carry the signal caution. So in a sense, it kind of lowers the statement that food is safer to eat just because conventional use pesticides, and so would organic. So, and then my response to the secondary claim is organic farming produces lower yields compared to conventional farming. The response is this because, as evidence on for the second claim, it states that over time organic farming would create higher yields than conventional farming, but according to the Organic Research Center, quoting Professor Bennett, our results showed that to produce the same amount of food using organic rather than conventional means, we need to use twice the amount of land for agriculture. So if over time, so conventional with half the land that organic would use would produce the same amount, while organic would use twice the land. So over time, yeah, maybe organic might create more yield, but you'd be using double the land than conventional would. So that kind of messes with producing higher yields. And also there was a report done by CNN where they reported new research that shows that organic farming actually produces 25% lower yields than conventional farming, making the statement that organic farming creates higher yields a little questionable. And then for my response to the third secondary claim is organic farming does create agricultural runoff. This response is because the evidence that backs up the claim organic farming has an array of environmental benefits is flawed to the runoff, because it's off there. It says with organic farming practices, agricultural runoff is nothing but water and dirt. One problem with this is that the claim has no evidence to back it up in the bibliography, and the second is that I found this one article. The article is Effects of Organic Farming on Water Quality by the University of Vermont, and it states that organic and bio fertilizers used in organic farming has shown to reduce agricultural runoff of nitrogen and phosphorus. So there is runoff of nitrogen and phosphorus in organic farming. So it does create runoff. And in conclusion, organic farming is important to the agricultural community, but some of the flaws in the secondary claims kind of mess with that. And that's it.
All right, you start off pretty well labeling the main and secondary claims. The signpost, when you get to that first point, is fine. You've got a criticism of the pesticides that are being used here, and to me, that was a little bit problematic because I think you need to document that the pesticide that you mentioned, Redden, I think it is in fact used in organic farming. That seems to be counterintuitive to me. I thought organic farming excluded the use of pesticides, or it used only the organic fertilizers, that sort of thing that are being used. And you know, I'm not saying that you don't have it right here, but I can't tell based on what you've got that you have it right. So you need to have the evidence that says this is in fact used in organic farming, because otherwise it seems to be counterintuitive. The second point was the strongest argument that you had in the argument, because you had very direct evidence that applied to both the land use and the yields issue. There's not really a criticism of the advocate's evidence. There's just kind of rebuttal evidence that you're presenting that seems to be pretty specific. I think this would be another place where some contrast to what the advocate's evidence was on this point would make your point even more effective, but you've got the right evidence on this particular point. The third point, I think you have misread what the evidence says, because in essence they're saying that the fertilizer that gets used in this reduces the nitrogens and phosphorus that are runoff, so there is less. I don't think that they denied that it has any runoff, but it says the organic ones actually reduce all of the negative kinds of things. You're actually presenting a better argument for this point than they presented with the evidence that you've got there. That's a little bit problematic. So the first point, you need a piece of evidence that connects the organic farming with the type of pesticides you're talking about. And the third point, you've kind of misread this one. I think you need to diminish the importance of the runoff issue and go in that direction instead. The second point was the one that was most direct. All right, and you want to lose the gum while you're giving the speech also. It's a little distracting. It didn't make you slur your words too much, but did make me think of cows. And then I started thinking of Chick-fil-A commercials, and then I started thinking about getting a Chick-fil-A milkshake, and it's just all hell is going to break loose as a consequence. All right, what's our time here? Oh, we're okay. We're doing great. Tiffany.